Hi, it's Julie from Do Business Like a Woman. Today, I'm talking about the truth about getting clients. And I can just see a bit of fluff on the camera. One second. Dog hair. There we go. So, I'm talking about the truth of getting clients. And I'm going to tell you a story. 6 years ago, I launched a coaching business. And it was a high-end coaching business. I'd just done my coaching training and I launched this business, and I had some high-end clients, some high-end clients. I sold some packages, but to be honest, I really struggled. And there were months where, I sold packages and everything was good. And there were months where I sold nothing for, maybe a couple of months at a time. And I didn't have any spare cash for that to happen. So it wasn't my time to launch that coaching business. I was not embodied and I was not in touch with my own inner wisdom. I just found out about this whole idea of you can have your own business and you can have all your desires and manifest this and manifest that. And it was really exciting to me, but it wasn't integrated inside of me, and it wasn't grounded in what my spirit wanted me to do. So the business didn't work, and I had a lot of work that I needed to do on myself personally. I just wasn't in a place personally to be the person who had that type of business. I didn't know that at the time, but I know that now. So it didn't work. The business crumbled. I went through some personal circumstances, a divorce. I had a lot of debt. I had to move back in with my parents. It was pretty humbling. I got a job again, did that for a year to get back on my feet. And what I discovered is that once you've been self-employed, and if you're anything like me, you are probably unemployable. You probably make a terrible employee now. So I knew that I wanted to get back to being self-employed as soon as possible. And my solution to that was to launch myself as a freelancer. Now, I remember a turning point, a defining moment in my journey. And it was after I'd been back at my parents', and it was after I, sat there with the tears running down my face, having lost everything. All I had was my laptop, my Mac, which I still have. I'm talking to you on it now. And I remember sitting in my tiny bedroom at my parents', it's like a box room, and just saying to myself, see what a girl with just a laptop can do. And then a few months later, I had rented a place and I was working the job that I told you about. And I remember I had about a year of just going into myself and being with myself and my own pain, processing everything from the divorce, everything I'd gone through, the business, all the lessons I'd learned, just processing. And it was this beautiful apartment in the countryside. And I just had to really sit with my pain and get in touch with myself and become embodied. I remember being on the phone once to my mum and literally crying and screaming down the phone. It was pretty crazy, but I needed to let that energy out. And I needed to feel those feelings. Once I did that, I was able to create from a different place. And it wasn't a place of, everything's in flow and it's perfect. But it was a place of alignment for me. The insight that I had is that we have to be willing to be humble. So many times I see women launching themselves as kind of high-end coaches or, consultants or whatever. But they haven't been through their process. And then what is happening in a lot of the cases is they're not getting clients, and they are like a broken healer in many ways, because here they are with this front-facing business that looks great, but behind the scenes, they don't have any clients or very few clients. Maybe they're struggling financially. And what we're not willing to do, and what I wasn't willing to do until I went through this process I've just described, is to be humble and to say, okay, I'm willing to go and do whatever job I need to do to start out where I'm at, and not try and be further ahead of myself than I actually am. So for me, that looked like getting a job for a year. I've told you I did that. And then within a few months, I was working on my business again. I was planning. When I decided to launch my business again, I launched myself as a virtual assistant, right? So I was perfectly willing to do whatever it took. And my very first job, I charged £12 an hour. So, it's like, do whatever, do what it takes. Don't be like, oh, I only charge $5,000 per package, but then you're not selling any packages. That makes no sense. And I'm not saying don't charge 5,000. If you're at that place where you're the person who can do that, cool, do it. For me, I had to grow into it, right? And so I launched as a VA. I did that, and within like a month of launching, I had a full practice of clients. I was making more from my VA work than I was from my job. That was enough for me. I knew it was time. I knew I'd grown enough. I jumped into it, and that was over 3 years ago, and I had a full schedule of clients since then. Very quickly grew into being an OBM, online business manager, working with a higher caliber of clients, supporting them in a bigger way, charging more for my services. Again, that was incremental. I built up my hourly rate, got it to £40 an hour. Then I packaged up. Then it was a monthly retainer. Now clients have to pay a certain level just to be able to work with me. And now, in the last few months, it's been getting into the coaching and mentoring side of things again, and packaging up and selling those, and my group program. And so all this to say, like, until I was willing to be humble, until I was willing to do that and to just really be with myself where I was at and own that and be proud of it, not be ashamed of it, I struggled to get clients. And maybe it's the same for you too, and when I was able to own that and be myself and be proud and put myself out there, start where I was at and build up, the clients came, the schedule was full, it happened organically, and I just grew and grew as a person and as a business owner, charging higher rates because it was appropriate, because of the value that I was offering, right? So I just wanted to share that story with you. I am going to give you a couple of really practical strategies because, here's my experience. You can have the best process and strategy in the world, but if you don't have the piece that I've just described around being spirit aligned, around being able to hear your inner voice and trust yourself and be embodied, then no strategy will work for you. So we have to do the inner work. That said, I'm all for making a start, and you can just make a start where you're at. You can go out and offer something right now. All you need is a kitchen table, a willingness to serve, and someone to talk to. You don't need a fancy website. You don't need, all these packages to begin with, if that's where you're at. Now, if you're wanting some practical strategies, here's a couple for you. I see so many women who are overwhelmed and trying to do all the things, and it's keeping them stuck. So pick just 2 to 3 client getting strategies only. I talk about this all the time. If you do this and you go deep, instead of trying to do all the things and spreading yourself too thin, you will get traction. So you pick a couple of client generating strategies that work for you as an individual with your personality, and you commit to mastering them, and you give them a chance. You do them for at least 3 months, and you do them really well, and you learn them. You learn how to do them. Each strategy has a learning curve. When I was using Upwork in the early days, I mastered it. I learned all about how to position myself, how to find the higher paying clients, how to submit proposals. So whatever your strategy is. Now, I'm not going to get into all the different client getting strategies here today because of time, but I have written them all out for you in my free guide, Get Clients Now, how to attract all the clients you need and activate your feminine superpowers to magnetize your clients. I've written this free guide for you. All the client getting strategies are in there. The practical step-by-step proven process is in there. I've used it to have a full schedule of clients. My clients are now using it. It works. So that is there. So if you want the practical piece, go ahead and sign up for that. It's free. You can download it right away and you can get that. but I just wanted to share with you, the kind of more spiritual piece that has been really key for me, and has been the difference between struggling and having clients that I love working with and that are willing to pay me. So I hope that's been helpful. One other quick strategy for you, just to leave you with, if you need clients quickly, then in person, talking to people, face-to-face, networking, that personal connection is always going to trump anything you can do online to get you clients fast, because they're in your presence, they're in your energy, they can see you, know you, like you, and trust you. It happens so much quicker in person than it does online. So whatever you think about networking, if you think it doesn't work, it's probably that you've not been doing it the best way. It's probably that you've not been doing it right. And I say that with love because I've been there too. It does work. Also, when you build business on relationships, which is actually how business is built, little secret, people will refer people to you. So, do a good job, build relationships, care about people. That will get you a long way in itself. There's no shortcut here, but there are things that can speed up the process. And if you need a client tomorrow, get on the phone with people, get talking to people, get to networking meetings. And if you're not clear on what you're offering, if you're not clear on your service, do market research calls to help you get clear on your message. And again, you'll be talking to people, and the very fastest way to get clients is to talk to people. I hope that this has been helpful. Get on my email list, get the Get Clients Now guide. It's free. All the strategies in there, all the client getting strategies, the process, my step-by-step process. And I love you, I care about you. Do the inner work. I'm here for you. Reach out if you need support. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.